Hello, welcome to the weekly highlights program on Azərbaycan Television with the major developments of the week. I am your host, Ilham Məmmədov. Now first, let's take a brief look at some of the top stories of this week. The Baku conference of the Non-Aligned Movement Parliamentary Network under the motto Boosting the Role of National Parliaments in Promoting Global Peace and Sustainable Development kicked off at the Heydər Əliyev Center on June 30th. The 6th Summit of the Heads of State of the Caspian Littoral States was held in Ashgabat. On June 29th, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham Əliyev, met with Chairman of the People's Council Chamber of the National Assembly of Turkmenistan, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov, in Ashgabat. Expressing gratitude to President İlham Əliyev for accepting the invitation to the 6th Summit of the Heads of State of the Caspian Littoral States, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov recalled with deep respect the participation of the nationwide leader Heydər Əliyev in the first summit held in Ashgabat in 2002. Noting that the Caspian Sea is a sea of good neighborliness and peace, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov expressed confidence that this meeting will give a good impetus to cooperation in the Caspian Sea and the common interest. Expressing gratitude to the President of Azerbaijan for the admission of Turkmenistan to the Organization of Turkic States as an observer and the high assessment of its activities, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov said that interparliamentary relations were developing successfully and the delegation of Turkmenistan participated at the Baku conference of the Parliamentary Network of the Non-Aligned Movement. Expressing gratitude for the kind words, President İlham Əliyev congratulated Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov on his anniversary and wished him success in his further activities for the development of Brazilian Turkmenistan. The head of state noted that during the years of Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov's leadership, Turkmenistan, along with strengthening its neutral status, has gained prestige in the international arena by pursuing an independent foreign policy, developing rapidly, and added that its capital Ashgabat became beautiful year by year. Noting the importance of the summit, President İlham Əliyev recalled that the first summit was held 20 years ago at the initiative of Turkmenistan. President of Azerbaijan expressed confidence that the decisions to be taken at the 6th summit will allow to fully realize the potential of the Caspian Sea to preserve it as a zone of peace, security, cooperation, and environmentally friendly place. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham Əliyev, met with President of Turkmenistan, Serdar Berdimuhamedov, in Ashgabat.
Saying that he was pleased to welcome the head of state to Ashgabat, President Serdar Berdimuhamedov thanks President İlham Əliyev for accepting the invitation to attend the summit. Recalling that the first summit was held in Ashgabat in 2002, the President of Turkmenistan stressed that the event had laid the foundation for long-term cooperation. Touching upon the signing of the Convention on the Legal Status of the Caspian Sea in 2018, Serdar Berdimuhamedov said that work was underway on many agreements on cooperation and transport, shipping, peace, environmental security, fisheries, emergency warning, and prevention in the Caspian Sea. Expressing his gratitude for the invitation, President İlham Əliyev first of all congratulated Serdar Berdimuhamedov on his election as President of Turkmenistan and wished him success in his work. Touching upon the importance of the summit, President İlham Əliyev noted that Turkmenistan had initiated the summit of the Caspian Littoral States 20 years ago and laid the foundation for broad and multilateral cooperation in the Caspian Sea, emphasizing the importance of signing the convention.
President İlham Əliyev met with President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Sayyid Ibrahim Raisi, in Ashgabat.
Greeting the President of Iran, President of Azerbaijan İlham Əliyev said that last time they also met here in Turkmenistan and they are meeting here again, saying that after the last meeting the relations between the two countries received a wonderful impetus and began to develop even faster. The head of state added that reciprocal visits of government members were organized. President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Ibrahim Raisi, said he was also very pleased to meet the president, saying that one of the important issues related to the Caspians is that the heads of state of Caspian littoral states met on a regular basis. Ibrahim Raisi added that the meetings on such platforms also contribute to the development of the relations between the two countries.
The 6th Summit of the Heads of State of the Caspian Littoral States was held in Ashgabat, Turkmenistan. President of Turkmenistan Serdar Berdimuhamedov welcomed President of Azerbaijan İlham Əliyev and other heads of state. The heads of state then held a meeting in a limited format. An expanded meeting on the sidelines of the summit was held. Opening the summit, President of Turkmenistan Serdar Berdimuhamedov gave the floor to President of Azerbaijan İlham Əliyev. Addressing the summit, President Ilham Aliyev thanked Sardar Berdimuhamedov for hospitality and high-level organization of the event. Congratulating Sardar Berdimuhamedov with his election as President of Turkmenistan, President Ilham Aliyev expressed confidence that Turkmenistan will prosper under his leadership. Saying that Azerbaijan attaches great importance to the interaction of our countries in the Caspian Sea, the head of our state drew attention to the Convention on the Legal Status of the Caspian Sea signed in Aktau in 2018. This document, signed as a result of many years of work, defines the legal status of the Caspian Sea. The imminent entry into the force of the Convention will create a solid legal framework for further effective measures aimed at further comprehensive interaction and cooperation between our states. President Ilham Aliyev noted that today Azerbaijan is one of the important transport and logistics centers of Eurasia. Our country plays an important role in the development of the East-West and North-South international transport corridor, and we strive for the efficient use of the Trans-Caspian international transport route. At the end, President Ilham Aliyev expressed confidence that the summit will facilitate the consolidation of efforts to address the important common issues facing the Caspian littoral states. Then, speaking at the summit, President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Sayyid Ibrahim Raisi, President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, and President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, stressed the importance of the summit. President Ilham Aliyev met with President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, in Ashgabat. Noting that he was very pleased to have the opportunity to meet with President Ilham Aliyev on the sidelines of the Caspian Summit, President Vladimir Putin recalled the visit of the head of state to Russia, adding that this year marked the 30th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries. Emphasizing that the relations between the two countries were gaining momentum and were at a very good level, President of Russia said that all the discussed issues were being implemented. Expressing his gratitude for the kind words, President Ilham Aliyev said that he was very pleased to meet with the President of Russia. President of Azerbaijan stressed that meetings with President Vladimir Putin had always been very important for bilateral ties. The head of state expressed his confidence that the meeting would also contribute to the development of friendly and good neighborly relations between the two countries. President Ilham Aliyev completed his visit to Turkmenistan. The Baku conference of the Non-Aligned Movement Parliamentary Network under the motto Boosting the Role of National Parliaments in Promoting Global Peace and Sustainable Development kicked off at the Heydar Aliyev Center on June 30th.
President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Mr. Ilham Aliyev.
President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, attended the conference. The head of state made a speech at the event, saying that an important event in the history of the non-aligned movement is taking place here in Baku, where we create non-parliamentary network. The head of state expressed gratitude to non-member states for supporting this initiative of Azerbaijan, which is another step to strengthen solidarity and mutual support. Expressing his confidence that parliamentary network will not only contribute to solidarity between the countries, but also will establish close working relations with different parliamentary organizations of the world, President Ilham Aliyev went on to say that non-aligned movement was the second after the United Nations biggest international institution, stressing that another important initiative was the Youth Network, and the next month here in Baku, again another important event, the Youth Summit of NAM will take place. The head of state said that these are the steps towards institutional development of NAM, and time has come to make practical steps in that direction. Azerbaijan is a relatively new member of NAM. We joined the NAM family in 2011, and from the very first days of our activity, we tried to contribute to solidarity, mutual support, and promotion of the Bandung principles. We fully share the Bandung principles, and we consider these principles as the only basis for cooperation and interaction between the countries, said President Ilham Aliyev. Addressing the event, Speaker of the Milli Majlis Sahiba Gafarova informed the participants about the agenda of the conference. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, received Speaker of the Grand National Assembly of Turkey, Mustafa Şentop. Mustafa Şentop conveyed Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's greetings to the head of state. The head of state thanked for Recep Tayyip Erdogan's greetings and asked the Speaker to extend his greetings to the President of Turkey. The Speaker of the Turkish Grand National Assembly stressed the importance of the Baku Conference of the Non-Aligned Movement Parliamentary Network and hailed Azerbaijan's successful chairmanship in the NUM. The site stressed the importance of the Non-Aligned Movement member states' support for Azerbaijan in the UN Security Council during the Patriotic War. President İlham Aliyev received chairperson of the Senate of Oyli Meclis of Uzbekistan, Tanzila Norbayeva.
Tanzila Norbayeva conveyed the greetings and best wishes of the President of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, to the President of Azerbaijan. The President of Azerbaijan thanked for the Shavkat Mirziyoyev's greetings and asked the Senate chairperson to convey his greetings to the Uzbek President. President Ilham Aliyev emphasized that he was very satisfied with the results of the state visit to Uzbekistan, expressed his gratitude for the high level of hospitality shown, and noted that the visit was very meaningful, pointing out the importance of the conference of the Non-Aligned Movement Parliamentary Network being held in Baku. President Ilham Aliyev emphasized the significance of cooperation within the framework of the non-aligned movement. Tanzila Norbayeva stressed that President Ilham Aliyev's state visit to Uzbekistan had left a deep impression on President Shavkat Mirziyoyev and the people of Uzbekistan. As a result of the visit, instructions were given to relevant institutions by the leader of Uzbekistan. Remembering national leader of the Azerbaijani people, Heydar Aliyev, with great reverence, Tanzila Norbayeva noted that the great leader had made a great contribution to the development of friendly relations between Uzbekistan and Azerbaijan, adding that President Ilham Aliyev was successfully continuing his policy.
President Ilham Aliyev received Chairman of the Senate of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Muhammad Sadiq Sanjrani.
During the meeting, Muhammad Sadiq Sanjrani extended the greetings of the President of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Arif Alvi, to the President of Azerbaijan. President Ilham Aliyev thanked for the greetings of Arif Alvi and asked Muhammad Sadiq Sanjrani to convey his greetings to the Pakistani President. Touching upon the visit of Muhammad Sadiq Sanjrani to Azerbaijan, President Ilham Aliyev said that the visit had created a good opportunity for exchanging ideas on issues related to bilateral relations. The head of state praised Pakistan's brotherly support for Azerbaijan at all times, especially during the occupation of lands, the Second Karabakh War, and in the post-war period, stating that his country always supported the just and fair position of Azerbaijan in the former Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict. Muhammad Sadiq Sanjrani emphasized that the people of Pakistan celebrated Azerbaijan's victory with great joy. The chairman of the Senate of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan congratulated President Ilham Aliyev on the glorious victory won in the Patriotic War and the liberation of lands from occupation.
President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, received Secretary General of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, Hussein Ibrahim Taha.
President Ilham Aliyev noted that cooperation with Muslim countries held a special place in Azerbaijan's foreign policy priorities, adding that this cooperation had been successfully carried out both bilaterally and within the framework of the international organizations. Emphasizing that Azerbaijan's fruitful cooperation with the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the head of state noted that the country is actively involved in strengthening Islamic solidarity. President Ilham Aliyev said that Azerbaijan also closely cooperated with many Muslim countries that were members of the non-aligned movement. In this regard, the president noted with satisfaction that a parliamentary network of the non-aligned movement would be established in Baku these days. President Ilham Aliyev praised the Organization of Islamic Cooperation's support for Azerbaijan's just cause and territorial integrity both during the Second Karabakh War and in the post-war period, noting that Azerbaijan's historical and cultural sites, including mosques, had been savagely destroyed by Armenians during the years of occupation. The head of state described it as a cultural genocide against the people of Azerbaijan and an insult to all Muslim countries. The president of Azerbaijan spoke about the large-scale restoration and reconstruction projects being carried out in the liberated territories, as well as the work done to restore religious sites. The Secretary General of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation said that he was pleased with his visit to Azerbaijan. Hussein Ibrahim Taha described Azerbaijan as a very important country for the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and praised the activities of the head of state as a leader. He added that the Organization of Islamic Cooperation was working hard to promote President Ilham Aliyev's position on strengthening solidarity among member countries worldwide. President Ilham Aliyev highlighted the contribution of the Baku process to intercultural dialogue, which is also recognized by the United Nations and is a manifestation of joint cooperation between the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the Council of Europe. The site stressed the importance of solidarity between member countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and exchanged views on the prospects for cooperation. They noted that Islamophobia was on the rise in some regions of the world and emphasized the importance of joint action to prevent it.
The 11th session of the World Urban Forum under the motto Transforming Our Cities for a Better Urban Future took place in Katowice, Poland. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, made a statement in a video format at the session.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants.
Focusing on the 30th anniversary of Azerbaijan's membership in the United Nations, which is being celebrated this year, President Ilham Aliyev noted a very important event organized in March this year in the cultural capital of Azerbaijan, the liberated city of Shusha, with the participation of UN structures dedicated to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals in the post-conflict and post-pandemic period. Touching upon the topics of the session focusing common efforts in ensuring sustainable urbanization and better future for our cities, the head of state said that in the course of the modernization and reconstruction of Baku and other cities of Azerbaijan, we have gained new opportunities and experience in terms of urban development. Baku, considered one of the most beautiful cities, synthesizes the harmony of historical heritage and modernity with its inimitable architecture, parks and boulevards. President Ilham Aliyev said that after the patriotic war of 2020, the sustainable development of cities is even more valuable for us, stressed that by deliberately destroying cities and villages during the 30-year occupation of Azerbaijani lands, Armenia plundered all cultural and religious monuments, turning these territories into a clear example of urbicide and culturecide. The head of state dwelled on the specific results of large-scale destruction, noting that during trips to the liberated territories, foreign diplomats, journalists, and representatives of international NGOs witnessed the vandalism and documented everything, stressing that our country is currently implementing one of the most complex and ambitious restoration and reconstruction works. The head of state dwelt on the problem of mass mining and spoke about the work being done to solve it. Azerbaijan is implementing modern urban planning in the liberated territories, applying the concepts of green energy and zero waste. President Ilham Aliyev noted about the ongoing large-scale work in the liberated territories based on specific data. The head of state said that our goal is to build inclusive, safe, reliable and sustainable cities and villages in accordance with the Sustainable Development Goals, stressing also that all this work is carried out at the expense of Azerbaijan's own financial resources. President Ilham Aliyev noted that solidarity with our country and international support are of great importance for us in the field of reconstruction in the liberated territories. The head of state spoke about the ongoing work in this direction and announced that Azerbaijan wants to hold one of the regular sessions of the World Urban Forum and is ready for it. President Ilham Aliyev expressed confidence that the holding of the World Urban Forum in Azerbaijan, a country with extensive experience in organizing high-level international events, would be successful. Now we get to the analytical part of our program featuring our special guest, international lawyer and political commentator Orhan Amashrov. Hey Orhan, glad to see you. This week, President Ilham Aliyev attended the 6th summit of the heads of state of Caspian littoral states. Last week, he was in Uzbekistan. How crucial is the role of Central Asian Caspian region in Azerbaijan's foreign policy ambitions?
In Azerbaijan's foreign policy agenda ambitions, Central Asia is very important. So this last summit, which took place this week in Ashgabat, was important. It wasn't a breakthrough. The breakthrough was in 2018 in Aktau, when there was a summit and the Convention on the Legal Status of the Caspian Sea was signed. That was a breakthrough. This one wasn't expected to be a breakthrough, but it was important because issues related to transport, to connections, to many other things have been discussed. Central Asia and the Caspian region are interconnected. They are not completely identical. Out of all Caspian littoral states, 2 are Central Asian countries. And there are manifold interests. For example, there's a Turkic bloc inside this Caspian region countries, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan. And there are bilateral relations between different members. Central Asia is no longer the backwater of the Russian Empire and Soviet Union. Since 1991, since the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the 5 independent countries emerged in that place, which was used to be Soviet Union. And these countries are very important. From Azerbaijan's perspectives, I think the foreign policy agenda which Azerbaijan pursues is a policy of consolidation in the West. So we are exporting energy to the West, we are important transportation hub, and in order to be valuable and important in the West, we need to consolidate back in the East. So for that reason, I think that Azerbaijani president's trip to Uzbekistan was very important, and the recent summit was very important. Some very important discussions have taken place. As I've said earlier, it wasn't a breakthrough. but I think it was very important, not in terms of just creating a general framework for the Caspian littoral states, but also in terms of bilateral ties. So you need to keep those bilateral ties healthy in order to have a great ambition for the further, larger, more pervasive framework. From that perspective, I think it was a very good summit, and we had some expectations, to be absolutely honest with you, because you know that this convention on the legal states of the Caspian Sea signed in 2018. Not all countries ratified it. Iran hasn't ratified it, for example. We hope Iran will ratify it too. There were some expectations that Russia will use its leverage in relation to Iran to ratify it. It hasn't happened. But in principle, I think that it was an important summit, and in the fullness of time, it has created certain conditions if used properly, will lead to something more tangible in the fullness of time.
How do you see the connectivity factor in the Caspian region? For all their specific interests, Caspian littoral states seem to share a perspective on coming closer to each other. What are the challenges and how can they be overcome?
Well, since 1991, since the dissolution of Soviet Union, there were two things which were very palpable in any discerning examination of this region. First, you see a massive potential for connectivity, for improvement, for all sorts of things of this kind, because the energy interest shapes this region, the enormous resources. But at the same time, there are friction points, of course. For example, legal states of the Caspian Sea was one of those things. Luckily, fortunately, we have overcome that particular stumbling block, but there are some other legal issues, legal challenges in relation to certain aspects of the use of the Caspian Sea, which are still there. We hope they will be sorted out as well. The second, I think, important thing, which is far more quintessential in terms of the wider geopolitics of the region, is the transportation corridors. Two, I would say even three, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan, are very much enthusiastic about the middle corridor, Trans-Caspian corridor. Azerbaijani president, in his speech to the participants of the conference, made a reference to this particular concept, and it is connected with our own Zengezur corridor project as well. So Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan seem to be within the same dimension when it comes to this issue. Naturally, some other members may not share the same enthusiasm in a way Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan has. It's a very complex region where bilateral ties and a uniform framework, they go hand in hand, but there are all the time there's a fluid content which needs to be clarified. And I think what has been achieved over the past few months in terms of this Caspian region countries is mostly about the bilateral ties. For example, Azerbaijan, Iran, Turkmenistan. These three countries have had very peculiar relations over the past couple of years. There are some disagreements and so on. But we achieved something monumental, I think, last November. There was a gas swap deal, according to which Turkmen gas will be going to Iran and then to Azerbaijan, 1.52 billion BCM, billion cubic meters of natural gas, and with a potential final destination in Europe. So this is very important. And there's a Dostluk field in the Caspian Sea, which is co-jointly used by Turkmenistan and Azerbaijan. Before, these two countries had a dispute over that field, but now it's used together. So on a bilateral level, we have managed to polish our relations. We managed to focus on the plausible bits. And I think that the future of the Caspian region is going to be based on the improving, increasing connectivity in terms of the bilateral ties, which will eventually emanate in the overall connectivity of the region. And Middle Corridor is going to be absolutely crucial to that. But there need to be certain steps that should be taken, and once they're taken, we will be in a better position to evaluate its prospects.
You know, this week Azerbaijan hosted a noble initiative. A parliamentary network of the non-aligned movement was established in Azerbaijan and during the session that was hosted by Azerbaijan. How do you see the role of this organization in Azerbaijan's continuous stride to project power across the globe? Well,
I think that non-aligned movement is a very important organization. It is the second biggest organization in terms of its membership after the United Nations. We know the origins of this organization, but times change and we're changing with the times. It's perfectly in line with Azerbaijani foreign policy. It's a multilateral diplomacy. United Nations currently facing massive challenges in terms of the power decision making, in terms of its power structures, decision making, and Azerbaijan has been espousing the policies that the world is bigger than five. The famous statement line of Turkish President Erdogan, which has been backed by Azerbaijani President, because effectively speaking, what I mean by this particular thing, United Nations current system is established in 1945 after the Second World War, and that world was very different to our modern world. So United Nations organizational structure needs to change. And why we're discussing United Nations in this context? Because NUM is a very important organization in terms of two fundamental things, I think. First of all, it can influence the decision-making process there, and it can influence the decisions taken there. Azerbaijan's example is a very clear example. It's a very clear indication how it could happen. For example, I think that from the perspective of non-aligned movement, Azerbaijan does get many benefits, but two things are very special from my perspective. First of all, membership in this organization. Azerbaijan has been a member since 2011, and since 2019 it has been a chair. So Azerbaijan can make global initiatives. Azerbaijan is a country of global initiatives. And what we see here, for example, vaccine nationalism. Azerbaijan has been very clear on this subject from the very beginning. Azerbaijani president made it very clear that there's a disparity between developed countries and developing countries. Developed countries have been stockpiling vaccines 4 times more than they needed, whereas many other countries with critical needs didn't have a minimum supply level. So that initiative by Azerbaijani president effectively culminated in 2021 in the United Nations resolution, according to which the resolution was adopted through the activities of Azerbaijan, which was acting on behalf of the non-aligned movement, and this resolution was about equal equal access to the vaccines. So that was the result of Azerbaijan being able to project greater power. You use the phrase project greater power. I would say punching above its weight. So because Azerbaijan is a relatively small country, geographically small, population is 10 million, but Azerbaijan through its membership in this organization can effectively influence the decisions which are beyond its presumed reach. And also I think that Azerbaijan has received sufficient backing from the non-members. For example, during the Second Karabakh War, there was an initiative to adopt a resolution at the level of the United Nations Security Council, which without any mention of those 4 famous resolutions to which we've been making references. Non-aligned movement countries blocked it. That was a moment of reality check, and Azerbaijan's membership in this organization was, in this movement actually, technically it's not an organization but movement, played a critical role. And Azerbaijan has been active not just in terms of leadership, not just in terms of global initiatives, but Azerbaijan has also been effective in terms of its initiatives, in terms of the institutional change in the organization. For example, the last event is about the parliamentary network. And then there will be another meeting of, say, Youth Summit, for example, next month. And today I've read an article that Azerbaijan, the non-aligned movement, is going to have an office in New York, for example. And all of these things are related to Azerbaijan's initiative. And Azerbaijani president, in his speech, I think it was yesterday, he said that this movement needs to be an organization. Because there's a difference between international movement and organization. Because once it becomes an organization, it will be in a better position to influence all of those matters which fall within its rubric. So I'm very optimistic. I'm very positive about this organization, this movement, and Azerbaijan's role is absolutely critical, and it will only increase from now on.
It was enjoyable talking to you, Orhan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was all for the week. Thank you for watching us, and stay tuned not to miss the next edition of our program.